Chapter 51. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After I arrived, the hotel manager, Dong Zhengliang, greeted me respectfully. Mr. Chen, it's an honor to meet you. Manager Dong, I said, cutting to the chase. Were you aware that Ruoshui booked dozens of rooms here a week ago? Dong Zhengliang looked stunned. Ruoshui? Who? Then, spotting Xia Ruoshui next to me, realization dawned. Oh, he thought, the boss is talking about President Xia. And he's calling her Ruoshui. That's pretty familiar. Is there something going on between them? I wasn't aware of that, sir. He added quickly, things get hectic, and ordinary room bookings don't usually cross my desk. Ruoshui's people booked a bunch of rooms for tomorrow, and now she's being told there's a problem with the reservation. The lobby manager is blaming it all on some intern. Does that sound plausible to you? Absolutely not, Dong Zhengliang said firmly. Booking that many rooms is a big deal. An intern wouldn't have the authority. Good. I want you to get to the bottom of this, right now. Find out what's really going on and if someone's pulling the strings. That I suspected this was more than just a simple screw-up. Ruoshui is the president of the Xia Group, a major player in Jiangzhou. The lobby manager wouldn't dare pull this stunt without someone backing him. If you can't figure it out, you're out of a job. Yes, sir. I'll find out everything, Dong Zhengliang said, clearly rattled. He turned his intense gaze on the lobby manager. If you don't give me a straight answer, you're not just getting fired. Between the boss and the manager, the lobby manager folded instantly, spilling the whole story. Xia Ruoshui's reservation had been confirmed, but yesterday, a senior manager named Huang Lu ordered him to cancel all the rooms. Hence the current situation. Huang Lu gave the order. Dong Zhengliang frowned. Yes. Get Huang Lu in here, now. A few minutes later, Huang Lu, realizing he'd been caught, confessed everything. He'd met Kong Junpeng, grandson of the chairman of Yum Brands, at the club. Kong Junpeng had overheard that Xia Ruoshui had booked dozens of rooms at the hotel. Figuring something important was up, Kong Junpeng told Huang Lu to cancel the rooms to mess with Xia Ruoshui. Why would Kong Junpeng do that? Dong Zhengliang asked, puzzled. Mr. Kong. I mean, Kong Junpeng, the jerk, said the Xia Group dared to compete with Yum Brands. He called this a down payment, and that they'd make the Xia Group pay big time later. Huang Lu repeated Kong Junpeng's words verbatim, so, Yum Brands was behind it. After hearing this, Xia Ruoshui and I exchanged glances. We were surprised, but not exactly shocked. Yum Brands, huh? Very well. You two have acted against the best interests of the hotel to curry favor with Kong Junpeng. You're both fired, effective immediately. The hotel will be hiring a lawyer to sue you. Dong Zhengliang declared. What? No, manager, sir, please don't sue us. Huang Lu and the lobby manager were in full panic mode, begging for mercy. Security hauled them away. Sir, I'll have someone rebook those rooms for President Xia right away, Dong Zhengliang said. Just as the room situation was being straightened out, my phone rang. It was Xia Mengmeng. Chen, I can't find my sister, and she's not answering her phone. Have you seen her? Looking for your sister. We're at the hotel, checking in, I said casually. The moment the words left my mouth, I realized how that sounded. On the other end of the line, Xia Mengmeng's jaw dropped. Her sister and Chen were checking in at the hotel. Whoa, this was definitely bad timing. Chen, I'll let you go. You and my sister must be busy. Xia Mengmeng stammered, at a loss for words. Realizing the misunderstanding, I tried to explain. You've got the wrong idea, I mean. But Xia Mengmeng had already hung up in a fluster. Ruoshui, I messed that up. Your sister probably got the wrong impression. You'll have to explain when you get back, I said apologetically. It's all right, Xia Ruoshui said, smiling. The room arrangements were finalized. This was handled well. I just happened to be here today, otherwise, this might have been swept under the rug. You need to be more vigilant going forward, I instructed. Yes, sir. I'll increase oversight at the hotel from now on, Dong Zhengliang promised. I dismissed Dong Zhengliang and turned to Xia Ruoshui. Ruoshui, you probably haven't eaten yet. Let's grab lunch at the hotel restaurant and talk about this brand situation. Okay. We went to the hotel's fancy restaurant and discussed the situation over lunch. Last time, brand stirred up the shareholders of Fading Group to get me kicked out of management. I was too busy to deal with it then. Now, they're trying to cause trouble for Ruoshui at her own hotel. They're getting bolder and bolder. Do they think we're pushovers? Brands has a deep bench and won't be easy to take on, Xia Ruoshui cautioned. If we work together, I don't see how we can fail. Brands was stepping way out of line, causing trouble for both of us, again and again. If we don't retaliate, they'll think they can walk all over us. We discussed the specifics of our plan. We'll need to take things one step at a time. Xia Ruoshui will gather intelligence on brands, and we'll talk details later. After lunch, Xia Ruoshui was eager to get back to the company. I didn't have any classes in the afternoon, so I planned to head back to the villa, but as soon as I got in the car, I received a message from Zhu Hongyi. Zhu Hongyi was playing golf with some friends and invited me to join them. As soon as I finished reading the message, the system's voice chimed in. Chapter 52. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The new gig's done, ding, new task, chill out, play along with Zhu Hongyi, and hit the golf course. Time limit, 3 hours, reward, a world-class supercar, Aston Martin 177, bonus, 57 experience points. Chen Fan was instantly wide awake. If you asked him what he wanted most right now, it was to level up the system to level 2. The daily rewards would be way better, making it easier to surpass the Chen family and crush the Jinling Su family. The more tasks the system gave him, the better. Finishing this one would get him 470 points, plus, this Aston Martin 177 was one of the world's most exclusive and expensive supercars. They only made 77 of them, and there were just 5 in China. Here, you're talking about a $6 or $7 million car, easy. It made even Chen Fan's Lamborghini look like a kid's toy. The Aston Martin 177 had a V12 engine, 750 Nm of torque, 760 horsepower, a top speed of 220 miles per hour, and went from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. A true performance beast. With that car, Chen Fan's Lambo could finally retire. Which course are we playing at? Chen Fan asked. Guanshan International, of course, Zhu Hongyi replied instantly. Guanshan International Golf Course. Playing on his own turf. That was perfect. Okay, see you at Guanshan International at 2:30. Chen Fan texted Zhu Hongyi. It was only 1 o'clock, so he had some time to kill. Chen Fan went back to the villa to get some rest. Around 2, he hopped in his Lamborghini and headed straight for Guanshan International. Zhu Hongyi and a few of his buddies were already waiting at the entrance. Seriously, Zhu, is your big brother really that awesome? Yeah, are you pulling our leg, man? Zhu Hongyi had just been telling them how powerful Chen Fan was, and they were both impressed and skeptical. Would I lie to you? He's a total big shot, on the same level as Wei Jingxiong. Zhu Hongyi said proudly, on the same level as Wei Jingxiong. His buddies were suddenly a lot more respectful. When Brother Fan gets here, you gotta introduce us. Yeah, we want to meet this guy. They were practically jumping out of their skin. Just as Zhu Hongyi agreed, a snide voice cut through the air. Mr. Zhu, you're exaggerating. Saying your big brother is on par with Wei Jingxiong. That's a bold claim. A skinny kid walked over, surrounded by his own entourage. The skinny kid was Luo Xingwen, the son of a rich guy from Jiangzhou, and Zhu Hongyi's arch-nemesis. If you want to talk about awesome, you gotta look at my big brother, the future king of brands, Kong Junpeng. Young Master Kong is the real deal. My big brother is a top diamond member at Xilan International, Luo Xingwen bragged. PSH, Kong Junping. He's nothing. He can't touch my big brother. Just then, a Lamborghini growled as it pulled up nearby. Chen Fan had arrived. See? That's my big brother, Brother Fan. Zhu Hongyi gestured excitedly. He ran over to greet Chen Fan. Oh, I thought he'd be someone special, but he's just driving a beat-up Lambo. My big brother, young Master Kong, drives a Bugatti Veyron that costs over $2 million. One of his cars could buy 3 of this kid's. Luo Xingwen sneered. That's right. Young Master Kong is the man. Luo Xingwen's crew chimed in. Zhu Hongyi's friends looked a little embarrassed. A Lamborghini wasn't exactly the ride you'd expect from a big shot like Brother Fan. Chen Fan walked over with Zhu Hongyi, who introduced his buddies. Hey, Brother Fan. Nice to meet you, Brother Fan. They greeted him politely. Luo Xingwen and his crew were still running their mouths. Bro, what's going on? Driving a beat-up Lamborghini? What a joke. If I was driving a Lamborghini, I wouldn't dare call myself a big brother, I'd be too embarrassed. Just then, the system chimed in. Ding, dot, take a break, play along with Zhu Hongyi, and hit the golf course. Task complete. Congratulations. You've unlocked a world-class supercar, Aston Martin 177. Bonus, 57 experience points. Task completed. The instant the task finished, Chen Fan's phone rang. Hello, is this Mr. Chen Fan? Your Aston Martin 177 is ready for delivery. Where would you like it delivered? That it was someone from Aston Martin. Yeah, I'm at Xilan International Golf Course. Just bring it here. Chen Fan answered casually. Okay, Mr. Chen, we'll be there shortly. Please sign when we arrive. After Chen Fan hung up, Zhu Hongyi asked, Brother Fan, what did you buy? Oh, just an Aston Martin 177. Chen Fan replied. Luo Xingwen was about to jump in with a snide remark, but he froze, like he'd been struck by lightning. Wait, what? He just bought an Aston Martin 177. Just bought it? Holy crap. Luo Xingwen was floored. The Aston Martin 177 was a top-tier supercar, limited to 77 worldwide. There were only 5 in the entire country, and they cost at least $6 or $7 million. This big brother of Zhu Hongyi's just bought one. Oh my god. Compared to the Aston Martin 177, Luo Xingwen's big brother Kong Junping's Bugatti Veyron suddenly seemed pretty ordinary. Even Luo Xingwen was shocked. Not to mention his buddies, who stared at Chen Fan in disbelief. He casually bought an Aston Martin 177. This big brother of Zhu Hongyi's was too much. As they stood there stunned, a Bugatti Veyron pulled up nearby. Luo Xingwen's big brother, Kong Junping, the guy who had deliberately caused trouble at Linhai International Hotel, had arrived. Chapter 53. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After getting out of the car, Kong Junping approached. Seeing the unfamiliar faces of Luo Xingwen and the others, he asked what was going on. When he heard the story, his expression changed slightly. You're Chen Fan, the major shareholder of Fading Group. That's right, Chen Fan replied. Immediately, Kong Junping turned hostile. His grandfather had told him that Fading Group and Xia Group were in cahoots, daring to oppose the Yum Group. Even worse, this Chen Fan had helped Xia Ruoxue escape the trap they'd set, ruining their plan. Kong Junping hated Chen Fan for it, but hadn't had the chance to retaliate yet. Now, to run into him at Xilan International Golf Course. Perfect. He'd teach this clueless guy a lesson on behalf of his grandfather and the Yum Group. He'd show Chen Fan what happened to those who crossed them. Kong Junping was plotting, but Chen Fan was planning too. Now that they'd met, Chen Fan wasn't about to let him off the hook. Where's this Aston Martin 177 you were talking about? Kong Junping asked. Only 5 existed in the country, and honestly, he was curious. It's not here. This guy Chen Fan's the one who claimed he bought one. We haven't seen it. Luo Xingwen explained. What? He just said he did. No actual car. Luo Xingwen sneered. I could say I own a Pagani Huayra Codalunga, one of 5 in the world. Anyone can brag. An Aston Martin 177, that's a stretch. Luo Xingwen continued, there are only 5 in the whole country. There isn't even one in Zhonghai province, let alone Jiangzhou. He's trying to intimidate you. No way he bought one. Hearing this, Luo Xingwen's buddies suddenly understood. Right. How could a world-class supercar like that show up in a second-rate city like Jiangzhou? You're sharp, man. You saw right through him, that they all started mocking Chen Fan. Who does he think he is? Buying an Aston Martin 177? Next, he'll say. Suddenly, a trailer truck slowly approached, and on it was a brand new Aston Martin 177. Kong Junping, Luo Xingwen, and the others were stunned. There really is one. Could Chen Fan have actually bought it? No. No way. Impossible. Kong Junping muttered, trying to reassure himself. 2 minutes later, the trailer stopped in front of them. Aston Martin staff got out and politely asked, "Excuse me, is Mr. Chen Fan here? The Aston Martin 177 you ordered has arrived." Instantly, Kong Junping felt like a fool. He'd been so sure Chen Fan was bluffing, but he'd actually bought one of the world's most legendary supercars. Kong Junping was practically drooling with envy. That level of supercar was beyond even the most privileged young elites. Chen Fan had it. He was definitely the top dog in Jiangzhou. I'm Chen Fan. Chen Fan stepped forward and signed for the Aston Martin 177. It was driven off the trailer and parked nearby. Damn, that's beautiful. Worthy of being a top-tier supercar. No wonder they call it a suit thug, elegant and badass. Brother Fan is the man. Zhu Hongyi and the others rushed over, full of curiosity. Even Kong Junping and Luo Xingwen couldn't resist the urge to take a closer look, but they were stuck watching from afar, filled with envy and jealousy. Brother Fan, can we check it out inside? Zhu Hongyi asked, excited. Sure. Chen Fan tossed him the keys. Thanks, Brother Fan. You're the best, Brother Fan. Zhu Hongyi and his crew were ecstatic. Luo Xingwen and the others were green with envy. Why did Zhu Hongyi have such an awesome boss? Their own suddenly seemed inadequate. Kong Junping's face was like thunder. He wanted that Aston Martin 177. Suddenly, an idea struck him, a way to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, teach Chen Fan a lesson and get his hands on that car. Chen Fan, you want to make a bet? Kong Junping blurted out. Oh. What kind of bet? Chen Fan asked. We're at Xilan International Golf Course, so naturally we'll compete at golf. Best of 3 to see who's better. The stakes. Your Aston Martin 177 against my Bugatti Veyron. If you win, my Bugatti's yours. If I win, your Aston Martin's mine. How about it? Kong Junping proposed. Mr. Kong, that's delusional. Your Bugatti Veyron isn't worth a fraction of my brother's Aston Martin 177. And you've been driving that thing for years. Get real, Zhu Hongyi retorted. What's the matter? Scared? Don't back down if you're a man. Kong Junping challenged. Why not? But the stakes are too low. Chen Fan said with a smile. Playing for peanuts is boring. How about this? We each put up $50 million. If you win, you get the $50 million plus the Aston Martin. If I win, you just give me the $50 million. The crowd fell silent. $50 million on the line. That was insane. It was way too much. Zhu Hongyi and the others looked at Chen Fan with admiration. He was the real deal. That took guts. Chen Fan threw Kong Junping's words right back at him. What do you say? Are you game? Don't back down if you're a man. Chapter 54. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The first time I ran into a real problem, I was pretty bummed out. right after Chen Fan said that, the system chimed in, ding. New task, convince Kong Junping to agree to the 500 million bet, reward, top-tier golf skills, reward, 50 experience points. Chen Fan was taken aback by the unexpected task. This was like hitting the jackpot. He was already pretty confident about his golf game, since his dad was a golf fanatic and Chen Fan had tagged along since he was a kid. So he was naturally pretty good. Too bad the Xilan International Golf Course was way too expensive, and they were low on the Chen family totem pole, so Chen Fan and his dad hardly ever came here. Now, the system throws him a task and rewards him with top-tier golf skills. Awesome. He was already 80% or 90% sure he could win. Now, with the task and the skill boost, he's 100% golden. He came to relax and play some golf, and now he's about to rake in 500 million for free. Sweet. Plus, the task gives him 50 experience points, and he's sitting on 520 already. While Chen Fan was checking out the system task, everyone else was laser focusing on Sun Junping, especially Luo Xingwen and his crew. Their boss was willing to risk 500 million and an Aston Martin 177 to gamble. All their boss needed was 500 million. He could do it. Sun Junping felt the heat of all those eyes on him. 500 million was a huge amount, even for him. Sure, he was part of the young group, but he only had 70 or 80 million liquid. To get 500 million, he'd have to write an IOU, but if he won, he'd snag the Aston Martin 177 he'd been drooling over, plus 500 million bucks. A straight-up fortune. With that kind of money, he'd finally get his dad and grandpa to respect him, instead of seeing him as just some spoiled brat. More importantly, Sun Junping was really confident in his golf skills. He was better than some pros. Should he go for it? The lure of 500 million and the Aston Martin was too strong to resist. What's it gonna be? Chicken out? How about we sweeten the deal? The loser has to say he's a clown, not worthy of the winner, and post a video online. Deal? Chen Fan pushed his buttons. That did it. Kong Junping was hooked. This was his chance to prove he wasn't a loser or a screw-up to his family. If he beat Chen Fan, who his dad and grandpa couldn't control, he'd finally get some respect. Okay, I'm in. Kong Junping gritted his teeth and accepted the bet. That's my man, Chen Fan grinned. Let's write this up. Zhu Hongyi found a pen and paper. Chen Fan drafted the bet, writing down all the details they'd agreed on, then signed it and added his thumbprint. Kong Junping followed suit. The bet was official. At the same moment, the system popped up again. Ding. Task complete. Convinced Kong Junping to agree to the 500 million bet. Reward. Top-tier golf skills acquired. Reward. 50 experience points added. A flood of knowledge poured into Chen Fan's mind. Just like that, he was a golf master. He'd also snagged another 50 experience points. Now, Chen Fan had a little over a third of the points he needed to level up. He was only 900 experience points away from upgrading the system to level 2. Let's go. The two groups headed into the Xilan International Golf Course and out to a green. Xilan is a standard 18-hole, par 72 course. Playing all that would take forever. Why don't we just simplify things and compare scores on 3 par 4 holes? Kong Junping suggested. Playing all 18 holes would take way too long. He was itching to beat Chen Fan, grab the 500 million and the Aston Martin, and go show off to his family. A par 4 hole should take 4 swings from tee to cup. A par 4 hole is about 300 meters long. A good player might score -1 if they sink it in only 3 strokes. Needing 5 strokes would give you +1, and so on. Unlike most sports, in golf, a lower score is better. Sounds good, Chen Fan agreed. This would wrap things up quicker. Kong Junping teed off first. Standing on the tee, Kong Junping took aim and whacked the ball. It sailed over 210 meters. He approached where the ball landed and took another shot, moving it even further. On his third swing, Kong Junping sank the ball and scored -1. Nice shot, Mr. Kong. He got it in 3. Amazing. He's gonna win for sure. Luo Xingwen and his buddies cheered, stoked. Next to them, Zhu Hongyi and his crew looked worried. Kong Junping might not be good at much, but he sure knew his golf. Sinking a par 4 in 3 strokes was impressive. This was a lot of pressure on Fan. Your turn, Chen Fan, Kong Junping said, smug. He could practically feel the 500 million and the Aston Martin in his hands. Unlike the nervous Zhu Hongyi, Chen Fan strolled to the tee and blasted the ball over 270 meters on his first swing. He sauntered to where the ball landed and sank it with his second shot. The first game was over before it began. Fan's a beast. Dude, 2 shots on a par 4. Hidden master right here. He's totally gonna win. Now it was Zhu Hongyi's turn to celebrate. Kong Junping was stunned. Chen Fan got it in too. How good was he? After losing the first game, Kong Junping suddenly felt the pressure. The second game began. Kong Junping took a deep breath and focused. He lined up his first shot with extra care. The ball flew over 280 meters. In the second game, Kong Junping managed to sink the ball in 2 shots. He grinned, confident he'd won this round. No way Chen Fan could pull off another 2-shotter. Then, something unbelievable happened. Chen Fan walked up to the tee, 300 meters away, and sank the ball with a single shot. Everyone was dumbstruck. The odds of hitting a hole-in-one on a par 4 are 1 in 2,500, and that's usually a pro move, but Chen Fan just did it, beating those insane odds. What the actual? That's what I'm talking about. Zhu Hongyi yelled, game over. The bet was decided. Chapter 55. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Round 1, Round 2. No way. How is that even possible? Kong Junping was in shock. He'd just watched Chen Fan nail a hole-in-one. He'd been golfing for years and had only ever seen that on TV. Nobody he knew, not even some seriously good golfers, had ever pulled that off, but here it was, happening right in front of him. Chen Fan had just aced the hole. Seriously? Kong Junping was speechless, and his crew, like Luo Xingwen, were even more blown away. Then it hit Kong Junping. He'd lost the bet. $500 million. 500 million. There was no way he could cough up that kind of cash. To pay up, he'd have to hit up his dad or grandpa, and if they found out about this, he'd be toast. He'd been trying to impress them, show them he wasn't just a spoiled kid. But now, he'd gone and blown it big time. He was a super deluxe, $500 million screw-up. This was bad. Really bad. Kong Junping started sweating bullets. Alright, Master Kong, looks like the game's over. Time to pony up the 500 mil, as agreed. Zhu Hongyi was all business, staring him down. Kong Junping just stood there, face like thunder. 500 million was insane. He couldn't do it. No way. Finally, Kong Junping decided to go for broke and pull something shady. He cheated. Chen Fan's cheating. Somebody, get over here, he's cheating. Kong Junping yelled at the top of his lungs. Luo Xingwen caught on quick and joined in the shouting. Suddenly, a bunch of staff from Xilan International Golf Course came running. I'm a platinum member here. I demand you arrest this guy. He cheated, I tell you, cheated. Kong Junping pointed at Chen Fan, ordering the staff around like he owned the place. He figured he could use his platinum status to pressure the golf course into arresting Chen Fan. Then, he'd snatch back the bet and destroy it. No bet, no debt. Mr. Kong, you're trying to weasel out of it, aren't you? Trying to use your membership to bully people? Zhu Hongyi and his crew were furious. He's obviously cheating. Arrest him. Yeah, grab him before he gets away. Luo Xingwen and the others chimed in, backing up Kong Junping. The golf course staff were totally confused and didn't know what to do. What are you waiting for? I'm a platinum member. My grandpa is the chairman of Yum Brands. Can't I get any service around here? Kong Junping lost it, straight up ordering the staff to take action. Platinum members did have some perks, that was true. If you don't do something, I'm reporting you to your supervisor for neglecting a platinum member. You'll all be fired. Kong Junping was screaming now, completely losing it. The staff caved. They couldn't afford to mess with a platinum member's wrath. Fan, you gotta go. This is Kong Juanpeng's turf. Grab the bet and run. We'll hold them off. Zhu Hongyi jumped in front of Chen Fan, trying to get him to escape with the document. That was the important thing. His turf. Chen Fan just smiled a little. That's right. I'm a platinum member of Guanshan International Golf Course. This is my domain. Kong Juanpeng puffed out his chest, all proud. Huh, you're wrong. This isn't your territory. It's mine. Chen Fan dropped the bomb. Yours? Who do you think you are? What territory? Are you a diamond member or something? Kong Juanpeng sneered. Guanshan International Golf Course was only for the Jiangzhou elite. Chen Fan didn't belong here. No, I'm not a diamond member. Chen Fan paused for effect. I'm the owner of Guanshan International Golf Course. At first, Kong Juanpeng was smirking, but when Chen Fan finished his sentence, he went white as a sheet. The owner? Chen Fan owned the place. How? How was that even possible? Kong Juanpeng was scared stiff. Chen Fan was the big boss here. What was a platinum member compared to that? He was completely outmatched. Luo Xingwen and the rest of his crew instantly clammed up, scared to make a peep. Get your supervisor and security over here. Chen Fan casually ordered the staff around. The staff scrambled to find the supervisor. Kong Juanpeng felt like the walls were closing in. If the supervisor and security showed up, he'd lose his chance to grab the document from Chen Fan. He looked at the document in Chen Fan's hand, and made up his mind. He'd have to take it by force. He was 6'2" and weighed over 200 pounds. He was sure he could muscle the document away. Give it to me. Kong Juanpeng roared, swinging his fist like a sledgehammer at Chen Fan. Chen Fan smirked. He had top-tier fighting skills from the system. He wasn't afraid of a little brawl. Before Kong Juanpeng could blink, Chen Fan kicked him. Kong Juanpeng went flying and landed on the ground with a thud. You wanna mess with Fan? Get him, guys. Zhu Hongyi and the others piled on, surrounding Kong Juanpeng and beating him senseless. Luo Xingwen and his buddies didn't dare to intervene, just stood there trembling as Kong Juanpeng got pounded. Before long, Kong Juanpeng had a bloody nose, swollen face, and a couple of teeth missing. You have 3 days to get your family to wire me 500 million. Otherwise, I'm coming to collect it myself. Chen Fan waved the document in his face. Luo Xingwen and his pals dragged Kong Juanpeng to the hospital to get patched up. Zhu Hongyi and the others crowded around Chen Fan, totally impressed. Chen Fan and his friends finished their golf game and grabbed dinner. Time flew, and the next morning, the system chimed in. Ding. 13th day of breaking ties. Reward. 5% ownership of Zhoxiao Security Group, the #1 security firm in Zhonghai Province. Chapter 56. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The old man was furious. Zhoxiao Security Group? What kind of outfit is that? Chen Fan had never heard of them. Still, to be #1 among all security companies in Zhonghai Province, they had to be a big deal. Intrigued, Chen Fan looked them up online. Zhoxiao Security Group had been around for over a decade, specializing in asset protection, personal security, armed protection in high-risk zones, overseas security, and the like. When the big shots and wealthy folks in Zhonghai Province needed bodyguards, Zhoxiao was their go-to. Every member was hand-picked and exceptional. More importantly, Zhoxiao had 3 special teams made up of top-tier, retired special forces guys they hired at a premium. Each team had 20 to 30 of these guys, and they were seriously tough. Those 3 teams were the reason Zhoxiao Security Group was #1 in Zhonghai Province. Zhoxiao wasn't just limited to China, they also had a solid international presence. The more Chen Fan read, the more excited he got. The stronger Zhoxiao Security Group was, the better for him. Right now, he owned 5%. If he could eventually own all of it and make Zhoxiao Security Group his own, even better. Hopefully, the system will give me that chance. Now, as a senior exec at Zhoxiao Security Group, he had some pull. Suddenly, an idea hit him, could I use Jiuxiao's special forces to find my parents, the people he'd sent before were just regular folks, they couldn't hold a candle to hardened special forces vets. Ever since getting the system, Chen Fan had never stopped trying to find his parents. They'd been missing for a year, and even the police were stumped. He wasn't relying on others anymore. To find his parents, he'd have to take matters into his own hands. Now that he had partial ownership of Jiuxiao Security Group, it just might work. With his new position came contact info for Jiuxiao Security Group's top brass. On a whim, Chen Fan dialed the president of Jiuxiao Security Group. After the call connected, Chen Fan identified himself. "Oh, welcome aboard, Mr. Chen." That the president of Jiuxiao Security Group greeted him warmly. After some pleasantries, Chen Fan said he wanted to pull a few guys with serious recon skills from the 3 special teams for a job. The president of Jiuxiao Security Group sounded surprised. "Is that a problem?" Chen Fan asked. "Mr. Chen, if it were just regular bodyguards, no problem. But those special teams are our bread and butter. It's not standard procedure to assign them to individual execs." The president of Jiuxiao Security Group sounded helpless. "But, since you've asked, I'll see what I can do." After a pause, he agreed. "Thanks," Chen Fan replied, too bad he only had a measly 5% stake. Forget 100%, even 30 or 40% would make things way easier. If he could take over the whole shebang, he could do whatever he wanted. Hopefully, the system has more shares of Jiuxiao Security Group waiting for me. Chen Fan thought. "No problem, Mr. Chen. I've got an idea. I'll be in touch ASAP once I figure something out." The president of Jiuxiao Security Group replied. "Great, thanks." After a few more words, they hung up, and Chen Fan waited for news. At lunchtime, Chen Fan had just finished class when Zhu Hongyi was already waiting in the parking lot. Spotting Chen Fan, Zhu Hongyi approached, curious. "Hey Fan, did Yum Brands pay up the 500 million? Chen Fan shook his head. "It's been a whole day, Fan. Think they're gonna stiff you?" Zhu Hongyi guessed. "Nah, Yum Brands has a reputation to maintain. But they're not going to hand it over easily. Getting that 500 million out of them will be a fight." Chen Fan's mind raced. "So, what now?" Zhu Hongyi sounded helpless. He was sure Yum Brands would stall or something. "Hey, didn't you say your friend recorded the whole thing that day?" Chen Fan asked. "Yeah," Zhu Hongyi nodded. "Easy. Have your friend edit the video, just the part where Kong Junpeng gets all twisted about breaking the contract. Then post it on all the major platforms and have your boys share it like crazy." Chen Fan instructed. That video would blow up in Jiangzhou's wealthy circles, and Kong Junpeng and Yum Brands would be the talk of the town. Public pressure would force Yum Brands' hand. Chen Fan wanted to pour gas on the fire. Then Yum Brands would have no choice but to cough up the 500 million. "Hee, good thinking, Fan, I got it." Zhu Hongyi grinned and went to work. Before long, the video of Kong Junpeng, the chairman of Yum Brands' grandson, trying to weasel out of his bet, went live. Zhu Hongyi immediately used his connections to get it circulating. The Jiangzhou wealthy elite soon caught wind of the situation. Meanwhile, at Yum Brands, Kong Baixing, the chairman, was chewing out Kong Junpeng. Kong Junpeng's face was swollen, and he looked ridiculous. If his wife hadn't stopped him, Kong Baixing would have broken his ungrateful grandson's legs. "Your grandson's a mess. Aren't you going to do anything? You have to get revenge for Junpeng." Kong Baixing's wife whined, looking at her grandson with concern. "Oh, we'll get revenge. Mess with Yum Brands? That Chen Fan's in for a world of hurt. But right now, revenge is secondary. What matters is that $500 million bet this idiot made." Kong Baixing snapped. The thought of coughing up 500 million out of the blue made his skin crawl, and giving it to their enemy. He was even more resistant. If Chen Fan wanted to pry 500 million out of him, he had another thing coming. just when Kong Baisheng was plotting to delay payment, Kong Juanpeng's father arrived. "Dad, check this out." Kong Juanpeng's father held out his phone to Kong Baisheng. Kong Baisheng saw the video of his grandson breaking the contract. "Where did you see this?" Kong Baisheng asked urgently. His grandson making a fool of himself was embarrassing enough, but this reflected badly on Yum. Group. WeChat Moments. WeChat Moments? If it's on WeChat Moments, every rich guy in Jiangzhou has probably seen it. Kong Baisheng lost it. His grandson had disgraced him in Yum. Group. Enraged, Kong Baisheng kicked Kong Junpeng a few more times. Kong Junpeng yelped. His plan to delay payment was no longer viable. He needed to take immediate action. Otherwise, he'd be the laughingstock of Jiangzhou's elite. He had a reputation to protect. "Dad, what do we do?" Kong Juanpeng's father asked. Kong Baisheng thought for a second and then grinned coldly. "I have an idea." Chapter 57. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They had plenty of time to talk things over. "So, what's the big idea?" Kong Juanpeng's dad couldn't help but ask. Kong Baisheng just smiled mysteriously, not saying a word. Instead, he pulled out his phone and made a call. Just wait for good news. He was determined to use this chance to humiliate Chen Fan and make him a laughingstock. Class was running late that afternoon, so Chen Fan decided to chill at his place for a bit. He'd been staying there for the past few days, but as he pulled up to the manor, he was surprised to see a Rolls-Royce Ghost parked out front, and a well-dressed guy looking around. Chen Fan parked and got out. "Excuse me, are you Mr. Chen?" the guy asked. "Who are you?" "I'm Jiang Hanru. Kong Baisheng invited me to talk to you about the bet." So, this was Jiang Hanru. Chen Fan had heard of him. He was a big shot in Jiangzhou, known for being humble, well-connected, and having a great reputation. He often played the role of mediator in important situations, so Kong Baisheng had called in Jiang Hanru. Looks like leaking that video worked. Kong Baisheng was getting antsy. The two of them walked into the manor together. "Mr. Chen, to be honest, going up against Kong Baisheng isn't the smartest move," Jiang Hanru said on the way. "Oh, really? You're young and ambitious, and I get that, but Kong has been running things in Jiangzhou for years. He's not someone you want to mess with. If you cross him, the consequences could be severe." Jiang Hanru spoke sincerely, on his own behalf. "Now, speaking for Kong Baisheng, here's the deal. He's willing to hand over the 500 million, but with a condition." Jiang Hanru explained. "He wants you to record a video explaining that Kong Junpeng broke the contract, because you provoked him, and that's what set him off. He claims that video was maliciously edited. That was Kong Baisheng's condition. If you agree, the 500 million is yours today. Kong gets to save face, and you get the money." Chen Fan scoffed. Kong Baisheng's really got some nerve. This was about a bet. If he won, he got 500 million without owing Kong anything. Now Kong Baisheng wanted him to release a video taking the blame and saying he provoked Kong Junpeng. He wanted to shift all the hate and pressure onto Chen Fan. That way, Kong Baisheng could save face, and Chen Fan would be ruined. "Yeah, right. Tell Kong Baisheng to keep dreaming. I'm not agreeing to any of his conditions," Chen Fan said flatly. They walked into the living room. "Mr. Chen, Kong's conditions are a bit much, but maybe we can negotiate. We can try to get him to lower them a bit." Jiang Hanru tried again. "You really don't want to end up in a fight with Kong Baisheng. Trust me." Jiang Hanru was telling the truth. People who'd crossed Kong Baisheng in the past didn't fare well. At best, they went bankrupt. "You're young, and your foundation isn't solid enough. Maybe you can take on Yum Group in a few years." Those last two sentences were sincere. In his mind, Chen Fan wasn't even 20 years old. How could he possibly have more power than Kong Baisheng? Chen Fan was bound to lose against Kong Baisheng. While Jiang Hanru was talking, Chen Fan took off his jacket and relaxed on the sofa. Jiang Hanru was about to say something else when he noticed the Patek Philippe on Chen Fan's wrist, and his eyes widened. "Mr. Chen, your watch?" Jiang Hanru asked, his voice shaking. Chen Fan had been wearing a coat, so he hadn't seen it before. Now that he'd taken it off, Jiang Hanru, a famous watch fanatic in Jiangzhou, immediately recognized the extraordinary timepiece. "What about it?" Chen Fan asked, confused. Is that the legendary Patek Philippe Grandmaster chime, one of only 7 in the world?" Jiang Hanru asked excitedly. At that moment, he switched to a more respectful tone. "Yeah, it is." Chen Fan nodded, impressed. Jiang Hanru was the first non-expert to recognize it. "Oh my god." Jiang Hanru covered his mouth, completely shocked. A watch like that was rare, even in Zhonghai province, maybe even in the entire country. Owning a top-tier, globally limited edition watch was Jiang Hanru's dream, but only a dream, and here was this kid, not even 20 years old, owning one. Oh my god. Jiang Hanru was buzzing with excitement. "You're right to turn down Kong Baixing. If I were you, I'd do the same. Who does he think he is? He doesn't get to make demands of you." Now, Jiang Hanru wouldn't dare underestimate Chen Fan, let alone doubt his background or power. Only someone far more powerful than Kong Baixing could own a watch like that. "Thank you for opening my eyes, Mr. Chen. If you ever need anything in Jiangzhou, don't hesitate to ask." Jiang Hanru had completely changed his tune, siding with Chen Fan without a second thought. With that, Jiang Hanru said goodbye. Before leaving, he respectfully asked for Chen Fan's contact information. As soon as he was out of the manor, he called Kong Baixing. Kong Baixing saw Jiang Hanru's name pop up and answered eagerly. "Boss Jiang, is it settled?" he asked, full of anticipation. He figured it was a done deal with Jiang Hanru on the case. Even if he had to pay out 500 million, it would be worth it to humiliate Chen Fan and ruin his reputation in Jiangzhou. Chapter 58. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Things were heating up between the two sides. "It's not over. And frankly, I'm done with this whole mess. In the future, Mr. Kong, don't bother contacting me." Kong Baixing was stunned by the ice in Jiang Hanru's voice. Before Kong Baixing could even respond, Jiang Hanru hung up and blocked his number. Kong Baixing stood there, dumbfounded. What the heck was going on? His carefully laid plans had just crumbled. Meanwhile, Chen Fan, seeing Kong Baixing's delusions of grandeur, decided to pour gasoline on the fire and forwarded the video himself. Within minutes, even Jiang Hanru had reposted Kong Juanpeng's video, making his position clear. As Jiangzhou's go-to mediator, known for his kindness and extensive connections, Jiang Hanru's move prompted many wealthy individuals and influential figures in Jiangzhou to share the video as well. Almost overnight, Yum Group's reputation tanked. Back at the villa, despite Jiang Hanru's about-face, Kong Baixing was still full of himself and determined to get back at Chen Fan. Just then, Kong Juanpeng's father arrived with more bad news. They knew that if this kept escalating, their reputation would be toast. If the whole thing continued to blow up, Yum Group would be public enemy number 1. Sigh. Just give Chen Fan the money. Kong Baixing sighed, suddenly looking years older. They'd lost this round against Chen Fan, and lost badly, but this was just the first skirmish. Chen Fan, don't get cocky. Winning the first round doesn't guarantee victory. Okay. Kong Juanpeng's father reluctantly agreed. 2 hours later, back at Jiangzhou University, Chen Fan finished class and was heading back to the manor. Suddenly, Song Manyu, his ex-girlfriend who dumped him the second she realized he'd cut ties with the Chen family and she wouldn't be marrying into money, appeared. Chen Fan. Song Manyu was taken aback. The last time she'd seen Chen Fan, he'd been out to dinner with Xia Mengmeng. She'd assumed Chen Fan had sweet-talked the rich woman into dating him, and she'd been itching to expose him as the good-for-nothing she thought he was. But Chen Fan had been a ghost at school, only showing up for class, and Song Manyu hadn't been able to find him. She never expected to run into him here. Oh, where's Xia Mengmeng? Did she dump you already? Song Manyu sneered. Xia Mengmeng had embarrassed her the last time they met, and Song Manyu held a serious grudge against Chen Fan. Now, she was ready to tear him down and unleash all her pent-up resentment. Chen Fan just smirked, not bothering to engage. I told you, cutting ties with the Chen family was the dumbest thing you could have done. See? Without them, you're nothing. You're a nobody now. Song Manyu continued, without the Chen family, you're just plain Chen Fan. You can't make it on your own. If I were you, I'd crawl back to the Chen family right now, beg them to take me back, even if they humiliated me all over again. Small-minded. Chen Fan couldn't help but say, looking at the clueless Song Manyu. In her world, the Chen family was everything. She had no idea Chen Fan didn't even think about the Chen family anymore. They were just a small-time wealthy family in some second-rate city. Chen Fan's sights were set on crushing the top families in Jinling. He started to walk away, hearing Chen Fan call her small-minded. Song Manyu got angry and chased after him, ready to retaliate, but as she stepped outside, she saw a top-of-the-line luxury car, worth a fortune, parked right in front of Chen Fan. Then, Kong Juanpeng's father got out. Chen Fan, here's a check for $50 million. Without preamble, Sun Juanpeng's father handed the check to Chen Fan. Song Manyu was completely floored. What? $50 million. This guy just handed Chen Fan $50 million. Seriously? For her, that was an insane amount of money. Suddenly, Song Manyu felt a pang of regret for dumping Chen Fan. If she hadn't broken up with him, would she have gotten half of that $50 million? Chen Fan took the check and made sure it was legit. The receipt. Kong Juanpeng's father demanded. The receipt was useless now that the money was handed over, so Chen Fan gave it to him. Sun Juanpeng's father tore up the receipt and glared at Chen Fan. Chen Fan, you won the first round against us. Don't get too excited. This is just the beginning. You'll soon learn the price of crossing Yum brands. The price? The price is that Yum brands will go bankrupt. Chen Fan replied calmly. Ha! You think you can bankrupt Yum brands? You're not even in the game. Just you wait, Chen Fan. Sun Juanpeng's father spat out the threat, then turned, got back into the car, and sped off. Chen Fan pocketed the check and left. Song Manyu stood there, her head spinning, listening to their exchange, a jumble of thoughts racing through her mind. On the way home, Chen Fan got a message from Wei Jingxiu, inviting him to come by, saying he had something to discuss. Just as Chen Fan was about to reply, the system chimed in. Ding. Task received. Accept Wei Jingxiu's invitation and pay him a visit. Task reward, one of the world's top and most expensive motorcycles, valued in the tens of millions of dollars. Task reward, 58 experience points. Chapter 59. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The motorcycle's price tag was insane. The most expensive motorcycle in the world. We're talking 9 figures, so definitely over 100 million. Chen Fan was floored by the system's reward. Motorcycles that expensive? Seriously? He was both surprised and incredibly curious to see a bike worth that much. This was a mission he had to complete. Later, Chen Fan texted Wei Jingxiu. A little over 40 minutes later, Chen Fan arrived at Wei Jingxiu's mansion. Wei Jingxiu looked rough, definitely worse for wear since Chen Fan had last seen him. In the living room, besides Wei Jingxiu and his advisor, was a stranger. Mr. Chen, welcome. Let me introduce you to Yuan Shi, another big shot in Jiangzhou and a good friend of mine. Wei Jingxiu introduced. Yuan Shi gave Chen Fan a curt nod, radiating big boss arrogance. Mr. Wei, you said you needed something. What's up? Chen Fan got straight to the point after sitting down. I'll be blunt, Mr. Chen. My rivals have hired some serious muscle recently, and my guys, along with Yuan Shi's, are getting their asses kicked. Wei Jingxiu continued, I was impressed with your skills last time. Do you know any skilled guys we could hire? We're desperate for manpower. Yuan Shi seemed skeptical, listening to Wei Jingxiu's plea. This kid? Asking some rich kid for help? Doubtful. I don't exactly have a crew of thugs, Chen Fan said. Wei Jingxiu sighed, disappointed. Understood. Thanks for coming on short notice, Mr. Chen. Why not just hire some guys from a security company? Chen Fan asked. Mr. Chen, the average security company guys are just that, average. They're no match for these elites. To get bodyguards on that level, you have to go to one of the big security firms, but we have no connections. We can't even get our foot in the door. Wei Jingxiong explained his helplessness. The top security firm's bodyguards were highly sought after, and just cold calling wasn't going to cut it. They'd probably have to wait forever, and they didn't have that kind of time. I see. How good are the bodyguards at Zhouxiao Security Group? Chen Fan inquired. Zhouxiao Security Group. They're the best in Zhonghai province. Even their regular bodyguards are highly skilled, never mind their special teams. Wei Jingxiong spoke with admiration, even Yuan Shi was impressed. Well, then hire some bodyguards from Zhouxiao, Chen Fan suggested. Mr. Chen, we'd love to, believe me. Even regular Zhouxiao bodyguards would crush those thugs. The problem is, we don't have any connections there. Even with money, a top-tier company like that is out of reach. Wei Jingxiong said with regret. No connections, huh? Chen Fan smiled, grabbed a pen and paper from the table, and scribbled down a number. Call this number and tell them you need a team of regular bodyguards. Tell them I sent you. Chen Fan handed Wei Jingxiong the paper. The number belonged to a Zhouxiao Security Group executive in charge of clients, a simple way to hire them that wouldn't even require contacting their president. Ah! Wei Jingxiong was shocked as he took the paper. Mr. Chen, do you have connections at Zhouxiao Security Group? Yuan Shi, who still seemed dubious, asked, Zhouxiao Security Group. The top security group in Zhonghai province. How could this young man? Nothing special, Chen Fan said casually. I just happen to own part of Zhouxiao Security Group. His words hit Wei Jingxiong and Yuan Shi like a bomb. What? Chen owns part of Zhouxiao Security Group. Meaning, he's one of the bosses. Nothing special. Being one of the bosses of Zhouxiao Security Group was beyond amazing. Mr. Chen, that's incredible. Thank you, thank you. Yuan Shi jumped up, all flattery now. The arrogant big shot act was gone, replaced by extreme humility. Thank you, Mr. Chen, Wei Jingxiong said, equally grateful. No problem, Chen Fan replied, repaying Wei Jingxiong's earlier favor regarding the Chen family and Wanheng Software Group. I haven't checked on Wanheng Software Group in a while. I should contact Ruoshui's cousin, Xia Wenyu, to see how things are going. It should be about time. My net worth has exploded these last few days, and Yongtai Real Estate Group is completely settled. I'm well prepared to deal with the Chen family. If that hacker crisis at Wanheng Software Group is resolved, then Han, the vice president of Wanheng Software Group, will probably come to Jiangzhou and work with the Chen family. Then it's time for me to attack. On the way back from Wei Jingxiong's, the system chimed in, ding. Agreed to Wei Jingxiong's request and visited him. Mission complete. Congratulations. You have obtained the world's most expensive motorcycle, a Neiman Marcus limited edition fighter, worth $350 million. Now in your villa garage. Go check it out. Congratulations. You have earned 58 experience points. Chen Fan's jaw dropped. A $350 million motorcycle. That's more expensive than my Aston Martin 1-77. That's insane. Chapter 60. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The old man was stoked. Chen Fan couldn't wait to see what a motorcycle worth over $40 million looked like. With that thought, Chen Fan hit the gas, heading straight for his villa in Yujing Estates. A little over 20 minutes later, Chen Fan arrived and finally laid eyes on the Neiman Marcus motorcycle. Neiman Marcus produced this bike in a limited run of only 45 worldwide. It's the only superbike street legal, capable of hitting 185 miles per hour. Originally, the Neiman Marcus motorcycle wasn't that crazy expensive, only around a few million, but over time, its value skyrocketed. Recently, one sold at auction for around $50 million. Chen Fan's Neiman Marcus was black and seriously badass, perfect. I'm getting tired of driving supercars. A motorcycle will be fun. Chen Fan said. After admiring his ride for a bit, Chen Fan headed back inside to get down to business. Chen Fan called Xilan Yu to get an update on the Wanheng Software Group deal. I was just about to call you. Looks like it should be wrapped up tonight. After burning the midnight oil for days, the boss is giving all the senior execs tomorrow off. Xilan Yu said, I'm betting Han Jiahui will head to Jiangzhou tomorrow afternoon or evening to scheme with the Chen family. Keep an eye out. Got it. Chen Fan was pumped. Tomorrow was his chance to snipe the Chen family and snatch the Wanheng Software Group project. Mr. Chen was so desperate to get. Tomorrow was going to be epic. He couldn't wait to see how pissed off the Chen family and Mr. Chen would be when he stole the project. Just stick to the plan. Chen Fan said. Okay. Xilan Yu agreed. After hanging up, Chen Fan leaned back on the sofa. Everything was set, and Tinyu Tower was ready, just waiting for the Chen family and VP Han to fall for it. Tomorrow, time flew, and the next morning, Chen Fan headed to class as usual. Chen Fan hopped on his Neiman Marcus motorcycle and rode straight to Jiangzhou University. When Chen Fan pulled into the university parking lot, there were no spots. He searched forever before finally finding one. Hey, dude, park that junk heap further away. You scratch my Ferrari, and you're gonna pay for it. A skinny guy hopped out of a brand new Ferrari 488, worth millions, and started yelling, if you scratch your Ferrari, you should be thanking your lucky stars you didn't scratch my motorcycle. Chen Fan retorted, this Ferrari 488 probably couldn't even buy a wheel for his Neiman Marcus. Alright, tough guy, you got a mouth on you. The skinny dude sneered, because it was on the edge of the lot, near the road. The argument quickly drew a crowd of students. Just then, Song Manyu and her best friend walked by. Chen Fan. Song Manyu stopped in her tracks. After seeing Chen Fan get $50 million yesterday, Song Manyu started second-guessing dumping Chen Fan. All night, she debated whether to beg for forgiveness and get back together. After all, Chen Fan had $50 million. Okay, he wasn't Jeff Bezos, but it was still a boatload of money. If she was with him, or even married, wouldn't she get half? And now she runs into him here this morning. What surprised her was that Chen Fan didn't buy a luxury car like a Rolls-Royce or Lamborghini after getting the money. He actually bought a beat-up motorcycle. What was he thinking? Hey, watch it. You scratch my Ferrari 488, you can't afford the repair, even if you sell that pile of junk. The skinny guy sneered, you've got it backwards. Chen Fan shot back, oh, right. My Ferrari 488 is worth over $700,000, close to $850,000. What's that old thing worth? The skinny dude bragged. That motorcycle is worth $50 million. Before the skinny guy could finish, a student shouted excitedly. The crowd went silent. Did they hear that right? This guy was saying that motorcycle was worth $50 million. No way. 50 million. Are you kidding me? The skinny guy didn't believe it for a second. That's the most expensive Neiman Marcus motorcycle in the world. I just saw it online last night. Never thought I'd see one in person. The student answered excitedly. Everyone, including the skinny guy, was stunned. Most people didn't believe it, so they checked online. Sure enough, the Neiman Marcus motorcycle went for over $40 million. After getting a confirmation, the crowd was shocked. So, you think you can afford to pay if you scratch it now? Chen Fan asked. I can't afford it, I can't afford it. The skinny guy shook his head. Dude, I was wrong. Who am I to park next to you? I'll move. The skinny guy looked at Chen Fan, scared out of his mind. If he really scratched a motorcycle worth tens of millions by accident, even selling his Ferrari 488 wouldn't cover it. Soon, the skinny guy drove away, shaking like a leaf. Chen Fan pulled away in style, while everyone was in awe. Song Manyu was furious. Yesterday Chen Fan gets $50 million. And today he blows over $40 million on a motorcycle. After buying that bike, he'd only have a few million left. Chen Fan, what a freaking loser. Is he stupid? Song Manyu cursed to herself. She was about to patch things up with Chen Fan and get half of the money, but now he's almost broke, spending all that money on a stupid motorcycle. Has he lost his mind? Did he think he's Warren Buffett? Using most of his net worth to buy a motorcycle worth $40 million. With all that cash, wouldn't it be better to buy a mansion and a sweet car? And who knows how much of the remaining money he's already wasted. Chen Fan had no mansion, no luxury car, just a stupid motorcycle. Why would she want to get back together now? Chen Fan is such a freaking spendthrift. No one's ever gonna want you, Chen Fan. Song Manyu yelled, you threw away all your money on a motorcycle. In the future, you'll be sleeping on the streets. Staring at Chen Fan's back, Song Manyu cursed. She was waiting to see him crash and burn. That morning, the Chen family received a very important phone call. It was from Chen Wenjing. Chen Wenjing had important information about the Chen family to tell Chen Fan.